let French Montana continue to be pressured by 50 Cent child. Every time French's name appears on the blogs, the man instantly pulls out a troll from his back pocket. And it's not just jokes this time. A far longer discussion was sparked by the most recent shade from 50. French Montana is also not simply avoiding the business disaster. There may be something worse ahead for him. Dubai's gold-covered royal cage. The headlines seem to be a flex. At first glance, you see, Dubai, an $18 billion princess, gets engaged to French Montana. The uninformed observer could believe that France has emerged from cocoa as the leading power in the world. But if you look past the glitter, the image makes less sense. It is thought that French's escape plan is more about survival than love. The federal government is allegedly still gathering evidence against anyone who was too close to those bad boy freak-offs, and Diddy is supposedly still the subject of an ongoing investigation. The French, they claimed, required a backup plan. Also, Dubai had a striking resemblance to paradise. Here's a joke though. Even paradise has its share of gloom. The towers are gleaming, the money is limitless, and the automobiles are encrusted with diamonds, as anybody familiar with Dubai's underbelly knows. Some of these royals, however, have long been accused of having such ravenous appetites that they make Disney Channel reruns appear to be Hollywood scandals. Stories of Western celebrities being flown out for actions too dirty to print and princes snatching up attractive youths have been reported. They were absent yesterday. When people see French, a man known for chasing bags, going out too much, and cuddling up to powerful men in order to get a shot, they fall in love with a princess and a $7 billion safety net. The convenience of math is a bit excessive, not because it is believed that he is incapable of loving her. Survival, they think, could have been a more powerful motivator. The shade of 50 Cent really shines at this time. He says that French got bought for more reasons than just the engagement ring. Is it true that the French exchanged one master for another? Obedient to wealthy, powerful men who held him to a low standard of accountability, he may still be forced to play the same game. After escaping Diddy's disaster, it hurts to be ironic. Dubai was viewed by the French as a place of escape. However, if the tales of those princes are even somewhat accurate, he might have entered the Dubai burner directly from the bad boys' fire. In addition, unlike the federal government, which eventually moves on or strikes deals, Dubai's dynasty plays for keeps. Because of this, the $7 billion escape plan appears more like a golden trap than a way to save French lives. The man may have bought himself a little time, but at what price? French's escape to Dubai is difficult to grasp without first understanding how he got engaged with the bad boys. So let's go back in time. French Montana didn't simply leave pop and quit in order to obtain that deal. You see that? Not at all, sis. Usually there was a strange smell to the tea around that signature. Diddy's history is also receiving more attention from fans as a result of everything that has come to light over the last 2 years. This is what people overlook. French wasn't some obscure mixtape artist looking for a deal. He could do something. Rock Nation went back and forth in circles. He attracted the attention of MG and Rick Ross. Additionally, Kanye's camp flirted. However, he pulled up a chair at Diddy's table out of all of those. What makes a man who has several offers choose a label that has a reputation for dubious business practices, terrible contracts, and extracurricular activities that are purportedly unconnected to music? As a child, Bad Boy was more than simply a nickname. That was a way of life. Additionally, several artists lived their lives on their money. Diddy allegedly offered French more than just a check, according to the whisper. He invited him to all the events where good deeds will be rewarded, including the parties, freak-offs, and women. Ever since, fans have been making fun of it. Initially, French acknowledged that he may not have accepted as much money up front as either Jay or Ross, but he went with Puff. Secondly, it was clocked by the internet every time French was seen half dead and staggering out of one of those notorious estates. From 2016 to 2019, people unearthed images and videos of French looking, let's say, worn people, and the dates were always on the weekends when Puff was honoring him. After Diddy was sentenced to prison in 2024, producers and former associates began to expose what Diddy actually required to secure collaborations, which only made the story more shady. A producer even said that when he declined to participate in a freak-off, Diddy blackballed him. Therefore, of course, "Oh, so you stayed and took a deal?" was the street reaction to French's rapid ascent. Of course. That signifies something to us. Then, is French's name on the receipt? The figure. However, in these circumstances, the tea is boiling. The day after, Diddy reportedly spent the entire night with him and as a treat, gave him a Sir French vanilla flavor. The widely shared birthday video shows Diddy clad in a robe and without a shirt. They both appear exhausted. French himself claimed that Puff was the only person who would give him the enormous bag, which he desired. To the industry, it seemed like any other label signing. The man's willingness to pay a personal price to advance his profession was apparent from the street. Additionally, Dubai residents believe he is playing the same game for the same reason. People assume that once you've demonstrated that you'll sacrifice your honor for a chance, you'll do it again, but with a bigger bag and a different master. This is when things become complex. French Montana is said to have shown off a fianc and new clothes during her presentation at Paris Fashion Week in the middle of 2024. Shikamara, a princess with connections to one of the governing families in Dubai, is not your usual fiancé. This isn't your typical Bronx romance, is it? It is a move in chess. The FBI was building up their mountain of evidence against Diddy at the same time, you see. The money laundering plots, the trafficking rumors, the freak-off tapes, and everyone in Diddy's inner circle were all suddenly poisonous. Artists, assistants, producers, and even casual associates were being subpoenaed or subject to examination. He was more than a friend to the French. For years, he essentially served as Diddy's shadow. The champagne endorsements, the birthday festivities, the ongoing cosigners. Prosecutors needed to bring up French in order to provide a convincing case. What does he do then? He travels more than simply abroad. One of the wealthiest families in the Middle East is the one he identifies with. The Shaker family is estimated to be worth $18 billion. Money has been involved for generations. Revenue from oil. A $7 billion fortune doesn't cause the money to blink. You receive more than just money when you marry into it. You are secure. You receive a fresh passport. People in your community don't mind when others become involved in their private affairs. French is allegedly in survival mode rather than in love, according to the streets. They highlight how the engagement came so fast and how well it matched the intensity. French people have been spending more time in Dubai than in New York or Los Angeles in the United States. His admirers perceive their connection as a fast-paced one. Wrapped in wedding vows and Cartier, it appears to many detractors to be a means of escape. Remember to consider the optics as well. Whenever French shows his princess a photo of himself, he looks more pristine, almost like a new person. However, the remarks are still random. Boy, you exchanged Dubai for Diddy. The more serious. Maybe. Since the gag has arrived, I hope those sheiks don't treat you the same way Puff did. The French believe his escape to Dubai gave him status. However, as anyone familiar with the history of power struggles among Middle Eastern kings is aware, escape from a conflagration is not always possible. You simply enter one that is larger and more attractive. it's unlikely that French people want to hear. Avoiding Uncle Sam by fleeing to the United Arab Emirates does not guarantee freedom. You may have simply signed a different type of contract. You see, the characteristics of Dubai are skyscrapers, Lamborghinis, and boats with tiger pets. The rumors, however, have been nasty for years. Influencers who flew in wide-eyed, pursuing that tax-free splendor, later flee, saying they were treated like props at palace parties. Both females and males. Foreigners are not human, some royals claim. To them, they are toys. Compared to their billions, you're broke when you join their world, and you don't make the rules. Yes, they do. Now contrast the $18 billion that the family of Sheikh Amara has amassed with French Montana. He is not rich, he's decorative. Furthermore, he's completely powerless in politics. One of our time's greatest autocrats is Sheikh Amara's father. French is, in short, famous, foreign, and attractive enough to add glitz, but he lacks the strength to resist if people consider him only an ornament. The shift appears to be more about upgrading to new handlers with larger castles rather than fleeing Diddy to private residences in Dubai, as online users have already noted. Furthermore, it is nothing new for the French family he recently aligned himself with to be criticized internationally. Do you recall the 2024 divorce of Sheikh Amaru? It went viral on Instagram. Her marriage was abruptly ended when she said, "I divorce you," in 3 words. The level of public defiance was unprecedented in royal circles. While it is commendable, it also highlights the turbulent nature of royal family life. Include information on her family, Princess Latifa's unsuccessful escape attempt, and Princess Shams's purported kidnapping. All of them were purportedly supported by their own father, the dictator, the new French father-in-law, and the absolute ruler of Dubai. The unexpected movement of that enormous strength against you breaks the glimmer of the lovely story. No guarantee of freedom exists. The internet is therefore referring to this as is having an escape plan worth $7 billion makes perfect sense. Get residency, marry into an absurdly rich family, and, if the federal government comes after you, hide behind a royal shield. Brilliant on paper. It's déjà vu socially, darling. For years, Cyrock wards, birthday serenades, shirtless meals, and Diddy's boy toy were all reasons for people to mock French. There are rumors that he traded a single sugar daddy for an entire family of sucrose habibis. It is painful to be ironic. It was hip-hop that sold us. Moroccan grit, Bronx hustle, French as the underdog hustler, and Coke boy pride. The royal family of Dubai, however, doesn't perform like Bad Boy Records. You don't surpass them in brilliance or humiliation, nor do you outlive your usefulness. According to the accounts, French did not elude a velvet leash for a golden cage. He only exchanged it. He left boiling water behind in the United States, despite it sitting directly on the burner in Dubai. Let's get to the funny. 50 Cent's voice is the loudest one introducing French into this mess. But think about that for a minute. If F isn't only acting, what will happen? Or perhaps he's attempting to warn him? You see, despite the fact that your larger brother insults you, 50 still wants you to expend energy. He has disparaged French, calling him a Diddy remnant and a wash for years. Nevertheless, he may witness the French passing through a trap that has a stronger odor than shackles, more like the velvet cages that Dubai residents discuss. But turn it over. What if there's more to this than a French trap? The things we're saying to him are stuff like, "Dude, you sold your soul for safety." However, what if this is just what he desired? While comfort is what some individuals desire, others prefer freedom. In a palace, the Frenchman might not consider himself a prisoner. Perhaps he believes he has been selected. The Bronx businessman mixtapes and obtained gold-plated security in the end. We could call it hell, but for him, Having a driver available and air conditioning could be nirvana. The fact that 1950 seconds jokes are basically true is what makes them so cruel. Fifth established his name by self-reliance, self-acceptance, and transforming street might into boardroom influence. Alternatively, the French might have turned survival into enslavement. However, who is actually winning? Who needs to battle for credibility in rap still? Or the men who drank tea behind the walls of the palace? Untouchable, impervious to controversy, and profiting from $7 billion in insurance. It is in disarray. Right now, the French are facing a humorous conundrum. He seemed to belong to us. Perhaps he will feel like a king or queen. That may be the most significant twist of all. It is possible that French Montana is grinning and 50 Cent is dragging him, believing that this was always the idea.